Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take stacks of info, pull out the key insights, and basically give you a shortcut to getting up to speed. Today we're diving into something many of us find fascinating: family history. But with a specific angle, we're looking at a big blind spot in genealogy research, highlighted by genealogist and author Robin R. Foster. She points us towards something often missed: the local history sections in, well, local libraries. Places I've definitely walked past. Our mission: to show you how these overlooked spots can offer surprising insights, way beyond just names and dates. A fresh look at your roots.
Robin Foster's point is spot on. It's actually pretty transformative for anyone serious about this stuff. We all know about the big archives, the online databases, right? They get tons of use. But these local library resources, like she says, widely overlooked. And that's huge. It means people are missing texture, the real details. It's not just facts. It's about understanding their daily lives, their community connections, the things that shaped who they were, moving from, a list of names to
A real story, exactly. It's like we all have a standard map, but Foster's shown us a hidden trail, maybe to better treasure. So think of this deep dive as your guide. We're going to explore how you can get so much more from these library holdings. It's about turning data points into, well, empathy, a real connection to your family's past. Okay, let's dig into this core idea. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. If you haven't checked the library in your ancestor's actual hometown, you might be in for a real surprise. You could think, I've looked everywhere: census, certificates, obituaries. But these local places often have unique stuff that just isn't anywhere else. It's the town's memory, basically.
what if your ancestor lived, say, states away, or even across the country? How do you access this? Well, the first thing is their online catalog. Search it thoroughly. Town names, county names, family names, and definitely look for digital collections. Lots of libraries are digitizing photos, histories, old papers now. But here's a key step. Don't just stop there. Email them. Ask specifically about their local history department and what might help with your ancestor. You'd be surprised what a polite email can uncover. Things not listed online.
What if some crucial stuff isn't digitized? Maybe it's too fragile. You really need to be there. Or what if some services are only for residents? That feels like a roadblock for a lot of people, right? Budget, time.
Oh, absolutely. It's a genuine hurdle. And look, these librarians are busy, so rule one: be courteous. Be clear about what you need. Respect their time. And here's a practical tip. Be prepared to pay fees if needed. Seriously. Many libraries let non-residents access things for a fee. It might feel like an expense, but honestly, it can be totally worth it. Paying that fee might give you the same access as a local. Unlock everything. Oh, and before you contact them or visit, make a timeline for your ancestor. Life events, dates, places. It helps you focus your questions. And if you do visit, you won't waste anyone's time, including your own. Helps you sift through things efficiently.
Right, having that timeline ready makes sense. So once you're ready to access these local resources, where do you start looking for those? We often look at the big official records, but maybe the everyday stuff holds more clues, like just asking. What school did they go to seems simple, but the records connected to that could open up a lot.
It really could. Local libraries often have yearbooks, which are amazing. Or they can help you figure out which schools even existed back then. Especially for schools that have closed down, merged, changed names. It gets complicated. Once you know the school, you can try contacting their archives, if they have them, for transcripts or records. And if the school is gone, then you need to research where those records ended up. County Historical Society, a bigger school district, maybe a university archive. You have to trace the paper trail. Researching the school might show your ancestor actually helped start it. Maybe they donated land or funds. Imagine finding that connection. Puts them right at the foundation of the community.
Wow, finding out your ancestor helped build the local school, that changes things. Makes them more than just a name, a community builder. It makes you think, what other local places were central to their lives? After schools, I guess churches would be next, right?
Yeah.
Huge part of life for many people back then.
Definitely. Churches are incredibly significant, especially if you're looking for records before official government registration started for births, marriages, deaths. Church records can go back much further. Sometimes they're the only record. Plus, you might find a church cemetery nearby. Other family members buried there. That connects generations in a physical place. It's quite powerful. So you identify the church, then you need to find who handles their old records and make an appointment. Be aware, sometimes it's the church secretary keeping records at home. Other times, it's a proper archive at the church. Knowing that helps.
Okay, schools and churches, crucial community hubs. Now, what about something like old newspapers? Most people probably just check the obituaries, right?
Yeah.
But you're suggesting there's way more in there. What else can they tell us?
Obituaries are useful, yeah, especially if you can't find a death certificate. Many people use them that way. But historic newspapers offer so much more. It's a resource that's still, I think, kind of underappreciated. First, find out what papers existed in their town during their lifetime. Some are on microfilm in the library, some are online now, thankfully. And the key thing is realizing old newspapers were different. Very different. They shared way more local social details, stuff we wouldn't see today. You might find an article about, say, a soldier coming home from war, or someone visiting from out of town gives you clues about connections, or detailed accounts of parties, social events, like who was there, what they wore, even what food was served. Imagine reading about your great aunt's award at the county fair, or your ancestor debating at a local club. It's those little details. They had color, personality, makes them human, not just entries in a record book.
That does paint a picture, doesn't it? So much more vivid. Speaking of things that might be hiding in plain sight, you mentioned something called a vertical file. That sounds technical. What exactly is that?
It really is easily missed, often just sitting in a filing cabinet in the local history room. Unassuming. And the crucial part, it's often stuff that has never been digitized. Unique physical items. Basically, it's folders stuffed with loose bits and pieces, clippings from newspapers, maybe old programs from events, photos, sometimes even letters, usually filed by topic like local businesses, churches, schools, or sometimes alphabetically by surname. If the library has one, it's absolutely worth checking. You could find leads you'd never find otherwise. Think about finding a flyer for a play your ancestor was in, or a photo of the shop they owned, or a program from their church's anniversary. It's pure serendipity sometimes, a treasure trove of random, wonderful finds about their affiliations and daily life.
Okay, so we've got all these potential pieces. School records, church notes, newspaper snippets, maybe something amazing from a vertical file. Local history books seem like the next logical place to look for that bigger picture.
Exactly. Local history books are essential for context. Many include biographical sketches of residents, especially prominent ones. But just as importantly, they explain how the area developed. When were counties formed? When did town boundaries change? That kind of information is vital. It helps you figure out where to look for records for a specific time period. Jurisdictions change. Knowing the history of the place keeps your research on track, stops you searching in the wrong county records, for instance. Oh, and a good online starting point for finding relevant local histories and records is the Family Search Research Wiki. It often links directly to resources for specific places.
Okay, another tool. City directories. They sound a bit like old phone books. Is there more to them than just an address?
Oh, much more. Think of them as snapshots between the official census years. The census is only every 10 years, right? That leaves huge gaps. City directories help fill those gaps. If your ancestor lived in a city, you can track them year by year, potentially. You can find out their occupation, huge clue. Maybe other family members living with them, adult kids, boarders, and you can see address changes. Did they move up in the world? Did the neighborhood change? Plus, if you find an occupation like, say, clergy or teacher, that gives you a lead. You can then look for specific churches or schools they might belong to. And the great news is, like newspapers, more and more city directories are being put online. Makes them way easier.
Okay, one last resource category, specialized periodicals. Sounds a bit niche.
They can be, but don't overlook them. Many libraries, especially those with strong genealogy collections, have shelves full of genealogical periodicals. These are journals where people publish local histories, family studies, transcriptions of obscure records, that kind of thing. And most are indexed, which is key. You can search for surnames or locations. But here's the really valuable part. Even if your ancestor isn't directly mentioned, these articles are usually well-sourced, they cite their references, so reading them can point you to other resources you hadn't considered. Maybe rare county records, private manuscript collections, work by other researchers on related families. They basically open up new avenues for your own research. Widen your net.
Wow. Thanks to Robin R. Foster's insight, it's clear there's just this wealth of information tucked away in local libraries. It really forces you to rethink your whole strategy, doesn't it? Look beyond the standard databases and archives. It's not just about finding more names. It's about finding the story. A real paradigm shift, like you said.
Exactly. Knowledge isn't just about collecting facts, it's about understanding, applying it. When you dig into these overlooked resources, the yearbooks, the vertical files, the social columns, and old papers, you're doing more than just filling out your family tree. You're starting to understand their lives, their community, their world. It builds a much richer, more human picture of your family's past.
It really does. Far more three-dimensional. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. What connections, what stories about your own past, or even just the history of your community? What's waiting for you? right now, if you just walk into your local library and start asking,